Turn with me, if you would, to Numbers. Numbers 16, verse number 5. Numbers 16, verse number 5. The text reads as follows. And he, this is Moses, spoke to Korah and all his company, saying, tomorrow morning, Yah will show who is his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near to him. That one whom he chooses, he will cause to come near to him. You can take your seats. To the hearer, this is a word of compound context. It's spiritual, it's covenantal, it's congregational, and it's tribal, just to name a few layers. Let's lead with this. Yah chooses the caused to come near. Again, Yah chooses the caused to come near. Bear in mind that Psalms 65:4 says, blessed is the man you choose and cause to approach you, that he may dwell in your courts. And so there's a purpose behind the cause. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And the cause has a purpose. Somebody say the cause has a purpose. And that purpose is to dwell. Okay. So in other words, the chosen are blessed and caused to approach the Almighty and abide with him. Listen close from the text of Numbers 16:5. So from the Numbers 16:5 text, as well as the Psalms 65:4 text, calls to come near. He will cause to come near and cause to approach are the same Hebrew word, karab. And karab is a verb, is a root word, and it means to approach causatively. Bring near for whatever purpose. Here's the thing, some are caused to come near. No, I didn't say near. I said nearer. Somebody say nearer. So to be clear, nearness comes not by credit. Nearness comes not by credit, merit, or status. It is the Creator's causing. It's not to be coveted or conspired for. And coups won't work. Coups won't work with Korah and company. Because that's what's happening in number 16. There's a coup being staged. You know what that is? It's a takeover of sorts, because they believe that they've been caused to be in a position that Yah caused Moses and Aaron to be in. They've convinced themselves, Korah and company. And so, like I mentioned last week, sometimes the issues and the conflicts that we face aren't from the world. They're not from the job. They come from the church. They come from the congregation, because you have some folks that look at those who are caused nearer as if they are caused in the same regard. And all of us have been caused to serve. Are you hearing what I'm saying? But there are different levels of service. And some of us who think that we are called to different levels aren't ready to serve at the level we think we're called to. My question is, are we even called at all? But I want to look at this through text. I don't want to make accusations. So it's not to be coveted or conspired for. Coups won't work. Say coups won't work. You ain't going to take this over. You understanding what I'm saying? It's not about, now listen real close, it's not about competition or comparison. Because see, what Korah has made the mistake of is that he's brought comparison into the congregation. He's brought comparison into the congregation, and he's looking at Moses and Aaron like they're short. Who do y'all think that y'all are? Why do you consider yourself above the people? And what Moses does next is just interesting to me because it speaks to his meekness, because he immediately goes on his face and he's like, I don't think you understand what's really happening here. Because the works that I do, they're not of my own doing. I didn't cause myself to this commission. I need somebody to understand that, watch this, we did not cause ourselves to this commission. We were caused by he who caused us. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So consider this and just write these down, because I'm going to be dancing through a couple of scriptures. But in Exodus 19, when Israel was camped in the wilderness in the 3rd month, they were camped in the wilderness. That's for all my feast lovers. They were camped in the wilderness in the 3rd month before Mount Sinai. And Mount Sinai means thorn. I always find that interesting. So they're gathered around a mountain that means thorn. The place, this is the place where they are offered to be treasured. So Yah makes an offer to the people of God. He says, if you do a few things, say there are conditions. He said, if you do a few things, then you will be a special treasure to me. And the conditions wherein you can realize this covenant that I'm trying to make with you is this: I need you to obey my voice and keep my covenant. Obey my voice, keep my covenant, and you will be a chosen people. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You will be, the text says, a special treasure to me. Verse 6 declares, you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Somebody say, a kingdom of priests. Now we understand that this word at the time of the text has been given to Israel and those who are joined with Israel. I said it's been given to Israel and those who were joined with Israel, the stranger that the text talks about frequently. But so this word is being given to them saying, hey, look, I'm calling you because I'm really causing you to be a kingdom of priests. It's interesting because I want you to hold on to that for later, because we're going to come back and get it. Because that was given in, Legacy Testament. And we hear it again in what we call New Testament. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Let's keep going. I want us to key in right here. The caused are called to consecration. I said the caused are called to consecration. Stay with me. Verse 10 of Exodus 19, Moses was instructed by Yah to go and consecrate the congregation in the wilderness. Are you hearing what I'm saying? He was told to go. He said, go and consecrate the congregation to witness an epiphany. This is what Yah is doing. He says, I want them to witness this epiphany, and an epiphany is a divine manifestation. And so the divine manifestation is that Yah himself was going to show up on the mountain. And it said that there were clouds there, and there was thunderings, and there was lightning. And we know that when Moses and Yah began to have a conversation, that Moses would speak to Yah, and Yah would answer with the sound by voice. Somebody say by voice. But there was also a sound of a trumpet. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And so they were having this congregation. So everybody in Israel, everybody that is joined with Israel is having this epiphany. In other words, no one can say that Moses made this up. Because now, watch this, the whole congregation, say the whole congregation. So the whole congregation can hear the Creator. So watch this. This is the original intent of God, that the whole congregation could hear the Creator himself for themselves. Say, I should hear him myself for for myself. Now watch this. I wonder, this is a side note that I just wonder about. I wonder how many heard the Creator, but then act like they didn't hear him. Now we know they want to shift the responsibility. That much we know. We don't want to, hey, look, if we hear from him, we going to die. So Moses, you talk to him. We'll take whatever you say, we'll go with what you say. But we can't take all that. That's too much for us. Right? So how is it that the whole congregation, thank you, Holy Ghost, how is it that the whole congregation says, Moses, you deal with this? The whole congregation would have included, do you agree? The whole congregation would have included Korah and company. So the whole congregation heard what the Creator said, or heard what the Creator was saying, and they didn't want to hear no more. And so they say, hey, Moses, you go talk to him. But then we get in number 16, and Korah them are saying, hold on, why do you think that you so high and mighty? Was you not? Oh, sorry. Was you there? Was you there? When, watch this, y'all was at the foot of the mountain, and he called me up. I'll get to it. Just stay with me for a little while. I know it's a lot of information, but I believe that it's going to give us some revelation. But even better yet, for the purpose of application. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And so the whole congregation sees this divine manifestation. I want us to understand that boundaries were put in place. Boundaries were put in place. Verse 20 of Exodus 19, Yah conversed with Moses, and then he called him up to the top of the mountain. An advisory was issued that the people stay in their place. And I would that the congregation would learn how to stay in their place. This is not a message about me. But I would that a congregation would learn how to stay in their place. That's everybody, leaders included. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And verse 22 says, also let the priests whom come near the Lord, hear the text, he said, also let the priests who come near the Lord consecrate themselves, lest the Lord break out against them. So again, the instructions in verse 10 was to go and consecrate the congregation. And then again in verse 22 he says, let the priest of the Lord who come near. Now I want you to understand that this near ain't the same one we've been talking about. Say it's not the same thing. Now, I know what you read in your English, but it's not the same word. Similar, not the same. Anywho, he says, those who come to consecrate themselves, lest the Lord break out against them. Don't miss this. Nearness is caused. Somebody say nearness is caused. Let's understand the approach of the people was a matter of allowance with a condition of consecration. One more time. I said the approach of the people was a matter of allowance with a condition of consecration. Don't come as you are. Come consecrated. God help me. Don't cause it. Matter of fact, he said, y'all got 3 days. Can I do the text a little bit? He said, y'all got 3 days. Y'all got 3 days. I need you to wash your clothes. Help me. I need you to watch this. There's a certain time when there is a calling of God where the cost of God must correspond to the way that they are caused. Watch this. We cannot come as we are when he's caused us to be different. We cannot come as we are when we've been caused to be cleansed. And I'm not just talking about ceremonial cleansing. I am talking about, watch this, sacrificial. I am talking about the cleansing of sanctification. Thank you, Holy Ghost. The cleansing of separation. He was telling the married folk, hey, look, y'all stay around from each other. He said, don't come near your wife. That's what he said. So watch this. I want everybody to be cleansed. I want everybody to be clean and consecrated before they come near. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And I know there might be somebody in their head where you talk about old covenant. Keep on listening. Keep on listening. Keep on playing with it. Anywho, so he was telling the people that they had to be concentrated to come near. So watch this. Closeness calls for consecration. Closeness calls for consecration, and nearness comes by cause. Again, Numbers 16:5, the text tells us that the one whom he chooses, he will cause to come near to him. Watch the principle. Exodus 3, Moses turned aside to see why the bush does not burn. Let's go back a little bit. Moses is like, he sees this bush that won't burn. Now it's interesting that when God had called the people to the foot of the mountain and he called Moses up to the top, it's interesting that the mountain that they were meeting on was Mount Sinai. Exodus chapter 3. God calls Moses while he is yet with his father-in-law, and they were by the holy mountain. And the holy mountain in that text is called Horeb. I need us to understand that Horeb and Sinai are the self-same place. Not different places, alternate names. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So watch this. Moses had been here. I tried to tell y'all last message. Moses had been here before, and he had already had, watch this, Moses, as sure as Israel and those that were with Israel had been called to witness an epiphany in the similar fashion, Moses himself had been called to witness an epiphany, a theophany, as a matter of fact. And a theophany is about the same thing as an epiphany. It is a manifestation of divine proportions. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And so it was the angel of God speaking with the voice of God to the man of God that I am calling you out from where you've been. So you understand that when you've been called, he's always going to cause you to come out of where you've been. When he was talking to them at the foot of the mountain, he had caused them to come out of bondage. And it's interesting that when he was talking to Moses, he had caused him to come out of freedom. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Because Moses was free by himself, but the congregation wasn't free. Isn't that something? Because we always want our freedom. That's not a congregational mindset. I'm not saying that you shouldn't want to be free. Who the Son sets free is free indeed. You ought to want that for your neighbor too. But you know, we got an issue with even talking with our neighbors nowadays. Just preach, man. But you can do the second commandment, which is to love your neighbor. Never mind. You don't even want to talk to them. Anywho, I got my own problems. They got their own problems. You know what? If you have a conversation with them, maybe they can help you with, Because you know, when this is a side note, but you know when you have problems, God often sends you people. Because sometimes your problems start with people. This will connect in a minute. Sometimes your problems start with people, but then he'll watch this. He'll fix it with people. Because Saul was a people problem. Saul was a people problem, but David was a people solution. Was it? I mean, let me come back. Let me come back over here. I don't know if I'm correlating this like I intend to, but I hope that you're hearing the heart of what I'm trying to put forth here. And so he turned aside and to see why this bush does not burn. He was witnessing a theophany, a divine manifestation. By the way, like I said, he was at Mount Sinai. Here it is. Y'all called him Moses. Moses. And Moses says, here I am. In verse 5 of Exodus 3, the writ tells us, then he said, this is Yah speaking, do not draw near. I need y'all to hear what I'm saying. I need y'all to hear what I'm saying. He's telling Moses, do not draw near this place. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place where you stand is holy ground. I'm telling you, watch this. I need you to understand that boundaries were put in place, even with Moses. Let me say it one more time. I said boundaries were put in place, even with. I know I've caused you to witness this theophany, but make sure that you stay right where you are. And matter of fact, take off your shoes. So he said, do not draw near. Y'all know that's the same word, right? It is corral. So stick with me. Y'all still with me? Stay with me. Exodus 28:1. Exodus 28:1. Yah tells Moses, now take Aaron. Now take Aaron your brother and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that he may minister to me as a priest. Now take in that text is the same word, corral. In other words, God told Moses, tell Aaron that he is caused to come near. I got to give you another one. Watch this. Numbers 3, 5 and 6. Numbers 3, 5 and 6. Verse 5 says this, and the Lord spoke to Moshe saying, bring the tribe of Levi near. Y'all already know what the near is. He says, bring the tribe of Levi near and present them before Aaron the priest, that they may serve him. So watch this. The sons of Levi, help me. The tribe of Levi was caused to come near. Here it is. Yah causes whom he will to draw near and nearer. I said, Yah causes whom he will to draw near and nearer. Get the principle. At Sinai, Moses was allowed to approach the burning bush at a certain point. Somebody say at a certain point. Where his appointment occurred and his assignment began. At Sinai, Yah allowed the consecrated, those are the congregation that were consecrated, to approach him at the foot of the mountain. Moses was called to the top. Hello. At Sinai, somebody say at Sinai. I need you to understand at the place of the thorns. So some were called to the foot of the place of the thorns. And some were called a little higher. Are you hearing what I'm saying? At Sinai, y'all had Moses commission Aaron and his sons as priests, and they were called to be consecrated. Are you hearing what I'm saying? They were called to be consecrated. Aaron was declared, I want you to note this as well, that Aaron was declared a mouthpiece for Moses back in Exodus 3, where it began with Moses. So Moses and Aaron have been in this thing since the beginning of the Exodus. The truth is, approaching the Almighty at all is a blessing. And I think we take it for granted because we can go to him for ourselves. And we take that for granted, and sometimes our approach is rather sloppy. Our approach is rather callous. I've done it. So I'm not sitting here pointing fingers, but our approach is a little bit callous because I have a right. And we walk right on in with no consecration. Help me. And we walk right in, not understanding that the access that we've been given is an allowance. Say, I have an access of allowance. Say, I have an audience of allowance. Are you with me so far? So approaching the Almighty is a blessing. At the same time, there are levels to his causing. There are levels to his causing. Know this, the cause of Yah will cooperate with him. I say the cause of Yah will cooperate with him. The cause of Yah won't concur with Korah and company. Pay close attention. We're free to choose our cause. Nobody made you choose your cause. You chose your cause on your own. So we're free to choose our cause. So watch this. I want to stay in line with the text here. So the cause of Yah or the cause of Korah. You're free to choose your cause because 250 leaders made a choice, a foolish choice. Instead of taking the cause of the Father. So you mean to tell me that all 250 of these leaders weren't there on that day when they said, Moses, you do it. And now these same 250 leaders are saying, why do you think you so much higher than us? This is what we don't understand because they don't, watch this, they didn't have the communication that Moses had with Yah. They weren't called to it. It wasn't a matter, it's just whom God chose because it's his prerogative. And some of us get upset with who God chose. Well, why he chose them? Because he wanted to. But why? Cause. Why? Cause. Somehow, Korah and company were convinced they were caused like Moses and Aaron. Perhaps, this is just me thinking, perhaps it was because he was a descendant of Levi. And so you look at verse 1 of verse 16, it tells us that he is a descendant of Levi. Now, I don't know what it might have gotten in his head, but I started looking for reasons like, why would he think this? Perhaps that's a reason. I can't certify that, but perhaps he thought that was a reason. On a side note, heritage doesn't warrant hierarchy without cause. Let me say that one again real quick. I said that heritage doesn't warrant hierarchy without cause. And to be clear, the cause of Yah, some of us think that we are higher than the next one because we've been caused. And watch this, whatever heights you've been called to, they were caused by him. No credit, no merit, no status. Are you hearing what I'm saying? No credit. Moses was a murderer. And if you want to go in the order of revelation, he was revealed to be a murderer before he was revealed to be meek. I'm sure there was somebody else in Israel who hadn't committed such an atrocity. But God didn't cause them. And sometimes we'll look at somebody's history and wonder how they got their hierarchy. Watch this. I know that he can use anybody's testimony, but it wasn't your testimony why he calls you. Are you hearing what I'm saying? All I went through, God had to use me. No, he didn't. Well, why did he choose me? Cause. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Somebody say, just cause. Profound, but yet kind of simple too. On that note, talking about Korah and company, please listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen. Don't twist access into appropriation. I say, don't twist access into appropriation. Again, because nearness comes not by credit, merit, or status, it is the Creator's causing. If you invite me to your house, I have access to your house. Usually, when you bring a guest in, everybody becomes an usher when they're hosting, don't you? All of a sudden, now if you have a hallway in front of your home like I do, you put your hand in front of the hallway and you're directing them past that hallway because that's not where you want them to go. Come on now. I guarantee you, no matter how much you love your host, you're not doing this to your master bedroom unless you're some type of nasty. But anywho, that's a whole nother sermon, whole nother day. Anywho, but usually when you invite someone to your home, you direct them to where you want them to go. If this is the first time at your home, sometimes you'll even include the information of where, come on y'all, the guest bathroom is. I just want to make it practical real quick. Because you know you ain't letting them use your bathroom. You the only one get to tear that thing up. Anywho, I just want to, I know you holy. I know. I'm just saying. Anywho, the point is this, is that when you give somebody access to whatever areas that you give them access to, they can't just take things because you said make yourself at home. Because what if somebody is at your home and you've said, make yourself at home, which some of us say in various ways, right? Make yourself at home, be comfortable, right? Now, what if they get so comfortable that they start touching your stuff? Because this figurine that you have, that somebody close to you gave you, and it's significant to you. It's not an idol, but it's significant to you. But you know what? I have access. If they pick it up, some of y'all will trip. If they pick it, if they touch it, some of y'all, if they even look at it crazy, hey, avert your vision. But if they even look at it somewhat different, if they pick it up, you're going to be like, now listen, I'll tell you a story real quick and it'll correlate. I had been invited to the home, I've told them this before, but I had been invited to the home of one of my senior NCOs. And he was inviting me to his home to keep me out of trouble because I was a little bit of a hothead when I was young in my Marine Corps days. And so he invited me into his home. His wife prepared a meal for us. He sat us down at his table, his mother of pearl table. This thing was gorgeous, and I know it was not cheap. And so this man has invited me into his home, and his wife has fixed me a meal. Now, there was others there, but I ain't telling their story. I'm telling mine. Because to be truthful, the rest of them was acting right. I lost my mind because I got comfortable at a table I was invited to. Y'all not listening. I said I got comfortable at a table I've been invited to. And here's a little branch from that, because some of us like, oh, I don't want to sit at nobody else's table. I want to have my own table. Well, then you are not ready to be ushered in by the shepherd, because he sets the table before me in the presence of my enemy. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So anyway, this table that I've been invited to and been fed, I now get comfortable. And what do? With my ignorant self, I lean back on this man's chair. He sat up. He said, sit down in my chair correctly. Now, he was a big guy, but his tone was not active like that. But boy, all the boot camp and drill sergeant or whatever he had been through came to him on that very simple thing. Sit right in my chair. Now, offense could have crept in. It didn't, because I knew I was wrong. I knew I had enough sense to realize I got comfortable. But I didn't get so comfortable to where I got careless and thought that I had a right to sit in this man's chair how I felt like it. And some of us have been invited to this man's house and think we can sit in the seats that he's prepared for us and we can just lean back and do whatever we... And then when somebody corrects you, you want to get offended. Because we ain't got no sense to be like, I repent, I got comfortable when I should have remained seated. I said I got comfortable, God help me. And if I would have just sat the way, watch this, that was appropriate for me to sit in another man's house, perhaps I wouldn't have had to face correction. But the correction didn't disconnect us. I had to honor the man even more to not, he looked me dead in my eye and didn't shake. You know when somebody telling you something, because sometimes people correct you and they can't look at you. They be like, no, he looked me dead in my face. Sit in my chair correctly. I'm sorry, I meant to talk to you, sir, because I was making an example. I don't know you like that. Anywho, sit correctly in my chair. And here it is. Why are you giving us this word? Why is this word relevant to us now? Because some of us don't know how to sit correctly. Some of us have become too comfortable in our causing. And some of us are beginning to do something that we're not aware of. Can I tell you how deep Korah's atrocity really goes? This is the thing, that he was leading a rebellion, which means that he was practicing witchcraft. Because rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. What if I told you that witchcraft crept in by comparison? And see, some of us think that somebody going to be sitting up here with a wand and a hat doing spells. Ooh, look at the witch and look at the warlock. No. All they need to do is start comparing. Yeah. Who are you to be in the position that you're in? Right? And it's easy to always focus on the pastors and the leaders. Some people don't understand why you have a relationship with the other person that you have. Why you got a good relationship with her. What's wrong with me? And we got an issue. Oh boy, I'm really finna step in some hot water. We got an issue with so-called cliques in the church. Yeshua had 12 disciples. Make a move. And when one of them wasn't acting right, he got rid of that joker. Are you hearing what I'm saying? 12. Not 13, not 12. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And watch this. And 3 of them, he called to come closer. Because only 3 went up to the mountain of transfiguration. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Only 3 were called closer when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, so you can get upset with it all that you want. But there are some who are called and caused to come closer. Somebody say near and nearer. Why those 3? Let me tell you how deep this goes. Say cause. Why them? Who do they think they are? They're the caused. It's nothing that Peter did. Are you hearing what I'm saying? For him to be caused. Matter of fact, you can look for every reason for Peter not to be caused. You don't think when he was calling Peter and allowed Peter to the Mount of Transfiguration, you didn't think at that very moment that he knew, man, I'm letting you see something that very few people will see. And you still going to run. You still going to deny me. So again, it's not credit. It's not merit. It's not status. It is the causing of the Creator. Here's what I really want us to get. Don't you ever get so high in God that now you think that you're the one that did it. Y'all know I got to do this one because it irks my very soul. You don't know what it cost me. No, it caused you. And we want to talk to people. This is what we do because we're not aware. Some people don't do it intentionally, but some are. Some are. Some people don't understand when you start talking about your cost. Sometimes you're bringing in comparison, which means you're practicing which. You don't know what it cost me. No, you don't. But I know whatever it cost you, he caused you. That much I know. I'm not going to be dismissive of it. I'm not going to devalue it. All I know is this much. Watch this. You didn't do it on your own. Because if you did, then you're on your own cause. And if you're on your own cause, then you're going to have the same portion that Korah had. Consumption. The ground. Snatched them. I can just imagine, y'all know me, I can't do nothing without my own little, I can just imagine Moses be like, hey, y'all, now it was more to it than this, but y'all just work with me. Hey, why don't y'all stand over there? A little more. To the left. 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 Right there. Woo. Woo. Right? Ooh. I guess they wasn't caused to come near, huh? Well, maybe they were, but not to the person who they thought. Are you hearing what I'm saying? They were in rebellion. And rebellion crept in through comparison. Ain't that something? Because we're always looking for this thing. We think that we got to have some tremendous discernment. Discernment is necessary. Don't get it twisted. But we think that we got to do the church thing and be all, this. No, just watch who starts comparing. See, Korah's thing was comparison. But Saul's thing was confusion. Witchcraft crept in by confusion. And we know that Yah is not the author of confusion. So who rewrote the word of God that Saul believed? Because God said, I want obedience. Saul said, no, you don't. You won't sacrifice. Huh? Who are we? Now, to some of y'all, that sounds crazy. Who would tell God what he said? We be trying to make the Bible say what we want it to say instead of just simply saying what it says. Because you want something deep. And I'm telling you, the reason that you and I are in the positions that you are, that we're in is by grace. Cause. Why did he give you grace? Cause. Why does he love you? Cause. Say, I'm caused. He caused us to do it. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm almost out your way, I promise. We ought not convince ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, to be caused beyond the Creator's causing. Don't get those two things mixed up. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So, take this with you. The caused have access to nearness. The caused have access to nearness. Let me say this. By the Nazarene, we have nearness beyond the boundaries of partition. I say we have nearness beyond the boundaries of partition. Make no mistake, to approach the Almighty is an admission of cause. It's an audience of allowance. The audience that we have with Abba is an allowance, and there are conditions of nearness. Say, there are conditions of nearness. cause initiates the caused commencement. That's how we begin this thing, because he caused us. It's our commencement. It's our commission. It's our consecration. It's our conviction. It's our commitment. It's our continuation and completion in covenant. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, nearness comes by cause and with cause. I said nearness comes by cause and with cause. Do not forget that there are conditions. So when I say that nearness comes by cause, I mean by the origin of the Alpha and the Omega. And when I say nearness comes with cause, I mean with objectives. What are those objectives? The objectives are obedience, and they are ordination. Have you been ordained in your objectives? And see, what Korah didn't understand, that though he was a Levite, he wasn't ordained to be that level of priest. And because he was confused, others were confused. Others were confused to the tune of 250 individuals that were not just parishioners, if you would. They were leaders. Say they were leaders. How many leaders are leading people the wrong way because they've been comparative in their causing? Psalm says this: blessed is the man that he causes to approach him. So there's a blessing in our being caused, but understand the blessing is in where he causes us. We got to understand, some he calls near, and sometimes he calls others nearer. And we've got to be content to where we've been caused. Oh my goodness. David says like this: I'd rather be a doorkeeper. Are you content? Some have called to be pastors, but they want to be apostles. You're entertaining witchcraft. Some have been called to be parishioners, and they want to be pastors. You're entertaining. Just because you can preach don't mean you need to be nobody pastor. Just because you can organize don't mean that you need to be nobody apostle. Just because you can run your mouth doesn't mean that you need to be nobody evangelist. I'm just saying. That goes for me too, because if I step out of order, if I step out of anything, you understand what I'm saying? Because what really got me is when God called Moses, he said, close enough. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Close enough. Realize where you are. And I'm trying to tell some of us that are really trying to walk this walk of faith, we need to understand, well, y'all wants us to operate. Because if our operations are not ordained, then we are entertaining witchcraft. Are you hearing what I'm saying? If our operations, our objectives are not ordained, we are entertaining witchcraft. It's that serious. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And Moses does this as I close. Moses comes to this portion of scripture, this time, this moment in time, and he says, okay, Korah, fine. We're going to see who's his and who's holy. Because the one whom he chooses, he will cause to come near. I said the last message, I'm going to reiterate it again. There's coming a morrow. There's coming a morrow where we're going to see who's his and who's holy. And those who only had empty claims of comparison. Those who only were really confused instead of obedient. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And just because you were put in a position, just because you were anointed, oh boy, I don't know when anointed became a point of arrogance, but it has. I'm anointed. Whoop-de-doo. I got a new one I said a couple messages ago. I like it. Wonderful donkey. Wonderful. I'm anointed, wonderful donkey. You know where the donkeys go, right? Wonderful. Wonderful. Donkeys can speak a word. Are you hearing what? Wonderful. Donkeys can speak a word to a prophet. Whew. Anywho, don't be confused about this thing, ladies and gentlemen, because we got another level to go to. But I had to make sure before we go to that next portion, before we go to this next place in being called, that we need to understand the weight of being called. And to find, watch this, to find contentment in the causing of Yah. We need to be content in the causing of the Creator. Because if we take up any other cause, God forbid, but I don't want anybody to experience the consumption of Korah that crept in by comparison. I don't want anybody to sit in a seat that they were anointed for, just to be fired. And anointed people were upset for a while. Samuel was upset with God's decision. God had to tell Samuel, stop mourning him. Can I tell you, stop mourning confused people? Stop mourning people that are comparing. Because watch this, the whole congregation was called holy. But the whole congregation that came to the wilderness didn't cross over to the wilderness, didn't cross over to promise. The whole congregation that came out of bondage didn't cross over to promise. Let me say it again. The whole congregation that came out of bondage did not cross over to promise. The congregation is called to be holy. The whole congregation is called to be a people, a nation that is holy, a peculiar people, a kingdom. Somebody say a kingdom, a priest. I'll leave you with this for the next portion. But even the priest knew you can't approach him like you want to. There are conditions. I want to give you your message entitlement and leave you go. We've been caused. Part 2. Conditions of nearness. Said they are conditions. Now govern yourself accordingly. Give God a hand clap of praise right there.